Greetings, prop makers of the world, and this week we are working on the Techronomicon, or whatever book you actually feel like making this into. This is a pretty straightforward project using EVA foam and lots of creativity and even more paint. So I hope you enjoy the video and hope you stay to the end. Enjoy! Once more unto the breach. Okay, so as you saw at the beginning of the video, you see a book that I have no idea how it's going to look yet, because this is the book you'll see at the beginning of the video that I finish at the end of the video. I love that part. Anyways, the book here is built out of 1/4 inch foam. This is one of those big like anti-wear mats. You can get it, I get it at Canadian Tire in Canada. I don't know where else you would get it from. Anyways, the foam is set up where we have the nice smooth side to the back. Now to the inside, you want to cut 2 panels of foam core, 15 inches long by 11 inches wide. And then this whole piece of foam in the backing is 27 inches wide by 16 inches tall. And this gap in the center is 3.5 inches. This gap here is 3/4 of an inch. Top and bottom are 1/2 inch. Once you have all that, if you draw the lines, and these are just hot glued down, so when you get to this point, if you draw the lines, it makes putting this on very easily. The whole point of this is to make sure that we have a good base for a closing book, because if the foam does not have that rigidity, it won't close like it would as a book. You won't end up with that really nice spine and the such. So from there, we're just gonna get that out of the way. Haha, professional. What we have to do now is we're going to be making a whole bunch of bookends, or not bookends, page ends. Good gosh. Now, this is one of those times where I'm going to tell you, be careful, because this is so specific, and the knife can jump out when you're doing this so easy. Watch your fingers, don't cut them off and blame me. So, what you're going to do is, I'm not going to actually do this because I will cut myself live on camera. What you want to do is you want to cut into the foam, and then what you'll be doing is you'll be running there. Now, this is the tricky part. You'll see that what that'll do is I'm not doing it very hard, so you won't see it. You have to do that 3 times per each length, and you're going to need 2 lengths of them, and you'll probably know what they are. One is going to be 15 inches. Aha, see that? Did something right. And then you'll need 6 of them at 15 inches. And then you will need, for the other size, I just want to make sure that I got one here, yeah. The other size you'll need at 11 and a bit. So, I actually have that on the screen. Yes, I did. So 11 and a bit. Now, what's great about these are the extras from the exercise mats. You know, the little edges that they include with all of the tabs on it. Well, all I do is I cut the tabs off, and this becomes the pieces you need to make the pages. Now, once you've got all these done, you'll see that these are all cut, but that's as far as they've got. Once you've got them all cut, all 12 of these ones and all 6 of the longer ones, you take the heat gun. I'm hoping this comes up on the camera decently. Yeah, you take just 1 second here. I'm going to try one thing, because, you know, that's how things work here. Oh, let there be light! And so there was. So right there, you can see how the heat gun, like I did the wood texture, opens these all up. And I did that over and over again. Now, once you've got these lines, I should actually before you use the heat gun, use the rotary tool and just hit this surface a few times, rough it up a tiny bit, make it look a bit like, if you look here, you can see all the bumps and the such. So when you use the heat gun, it opens up the pages. It doesn't look clean and perfect, and that's not what we're going for. So once you've got all 6 of these, what the intention is to make it look like pages. There should be 6 of these somewhere. Oh, look at that. There is 6. None of them have gone AWOL on me just yet. So what's going to happen now, just to give you a quick idea, is you're going to be stacking them on the edge of the book like this. And once painted, you can see how that will look like old pages in a tome. And now that I've thrown my actual book way out of the way, which I'm going to put down my microphone for 1 second to go grab. There we go. See, my production value is in all the, you get to listen to me screw up as much as anybody else does this kind of thing. So, put my microphone back on. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to be putting these here, and we're going to be putting them here. Hopefully that's on. There we go. And we're going to be doing a 45-degree angle. I'll be back to talk about this part, but I'll show you what's going on just going forward. Once this is all done, then we're going to be layering this all up, and the effect is actually really neat on how to make this book. And when you're going to be putting these pages on, we'll be going through it. You don't need to be completely straight. You want it to look like an old tome. And when you flip this over, hopefully I can pull this off. There we go. You can see it has the look of an ancient, thick book, because you just can't get big books like this. So I want one for a prop, and you'll see there, once these are all glued, that will have quite the look and feel of an old tome. We're going to be doing lots on the front here, but I just wanted to go through the pages, because what we're going to be doing is, after the pages are done, we're not gluing them in yet, because we're going to be flipping this over and we're going to be doing the cover and the such like that. But before I forget, you want to be taking trim that is 3/4 of an inch here and 1/2 an inch here, and what you'll be doing is you'll be placing this right on there like that, and you'll be contact cementing it in place, because we need to have a nice edge on there. And take it, once it's done, clean it up, make sure your edges look good, and then I'll be back to talk about the front and how we're decorating that, which will be almost as big of a job as the inside, and we'll take it from there and see where we go. See you in a few. Further along and making great progress here. I figured I would stop and show you where we are, just so you can kind of have an idea what the heck I'm doing. So, we've got our book. This was just my pages for spacing. Now on the inside here, I'm going to bring this up a bit. You can see that I've skirted the entire thing with foam, rubber cemented it on, or contact cemented it on. I keep calling it rubber cement. Doesn't matter. Now, and what you see here gives you a nice edge, nice and thick. It makes it feel like an actual book cover. And then I just very lightly chamfered the edge here. So you can do that on the inside, on the outside. Do the same thing here. Now we're going to open this book right up flat, and you can see what I did with the texture. About 1/2 an inch in here, I did the Dremel texture, where you just pretty much take the Dremel and just hit it over and over and over again. It ends up with a really nice looking look and feel to it. And same with this one. I did the same thing just to give the spine a texture. The majority of this cover for me is going to be wood texture. So you can see here, and kudos to my wife, who I was only going to do one side and pretend the back didn't exist. But she raised the question. She said, you know, you really should do the back. And I said, who will pick it up? And she said, people like you. And she knows me so well. So you can see here, and then at the bottom, what I did is on the wood texture, in between the grains, I took some notches, out of it, and then finished that up and just chamfered the edge once again. You can see that it has a really cool look to it. Curious where that line came from there. It's interesting. The whole thing comes together really nicely. You can do this finish however you feel like it, but this is how I'm doing my book. And to give you an idea of where things are kind of going is, you know, those will stack up nicely if I want them to. Those will stack up, go right there. These bars are going to come into the front, sort of like so. And I went and dug up one of my older pieces here to put in the center. So you can kind of get an idea of how this thing's going to start looking once it all starts coming together. I'm making like a Techronomicon. Well, it's actually a really good name for it. The Techronomicon. And it's going to be like a a view of technology. And anyways, I'll put together a story for this after. If you want to do this one, you can. The wood grain will drive you nuts because it took me forever, but it looks good. There's more to be done here, and I'll be back once I have all of this now sealed. I'm going to go do a glue seal on this up to the spine. I'm not sealing the spine with glue. I want it to remain flexible, but I want this to have a bit of a harder finish on it. I'm going to seal the whole thing with glue, and then we will come back and we will start discussing on how to put together these pages and the split on the inside. I'll be back. All right. So we've got these pages now installed on the inside. The last time you saw it, this was empty on the inside. And it's pretty much simple as simple does. All you do is you take the pieces, the long pieces, cut them, the tops at 45 degrees. You see, this didn't line up exactly, but when the lid goes down, you'll never notice it in a million years. And it adds character, you know. Gotta love them. Added character is the greatest way to say, I made a mistake, but no one will notice except for me. So what you do is as you put these pages in, you stack them not perfectly straight. You want them to be crooked, and just pay attention to the corners. You want to get them close so they meet up, and that illusion of it being a single page kind of sticks. And since we did all of these pages as a third, you can kind of get away with it. You see, you can hardly see that joint in there. Anyways, so what you do is you work your way up, stacking up, doing each layer at a time using hot glue. And once you're all done, you've got pretty much your book all ready to be sealed up. So what you'll do is, when I'm done here, I'm not going to do it on camera because I'm not that brave, and this takes a lot of lining up, is you close up your book and you glue it along the top and the sides all at once, and you hold this in place until it glues. And I see there on the end cap how the pages are not completely even. You can either leave it like that, even though technically it's not right in terms of how a signature looks and all that binding stuff, and the binding part of me from yesteryear would be going, that's not how it works. But it doesn't matter because this is a prop and you can get away with a bit more. If you don't like how this looks, just put a little piece of foam in there to cover up that spine. No one will notice it. It'll look pretty good. Same with the top. You can do the same thing, but you can see this is how the book's going to start coming together. So I'm going to glue this and I'll be right back. Okay, once your glue is all set on the inside, you will end up with your book being pretty solid at this point. Now, the top here, of course, this whole book is up to you on how you want to do it. I'm going, like I said, in a way of a kind of a Techronomicon type thing. And I'm going to be putting on my Google Drive this template so you can use it if you want to. Or you can do whatever you want. The main thing is the base of the book. You can kind of take whatever you want and modify it from there. Heck, I might do multiple videos on different books, so those who are not as inclined artistically can still build really cool things. So now, this here is a symbol I did in a much earlier video. It had a different purpose initially, and now it's being repurposed into this. And that link is up there for how to build this. That's a whole project in itself, so if you're feeling brave, do it. If not, remove it and put something else in the center. But I really like how this looks. Now this is 1.25 inch, half-inch foam, I believe. Yeah, 1.25 inch, half-inch foam. And then all I did was I chamfered the edge, hit it with the Dremel to get this texture on it, and then put some of the diamond gems on, the sticky diamond gems from the dollar store. Hit the tops with the Dremel to roughen them up, and just like that. You have to make 4 of these if you're doing this book. You need to make 4 of these if you're doing this book, and the same thing on this side. So now the only thing we're going to be doing after, I'm going to get all this glued down, and now there's going to be bindings that come over the back here and down. So once I've got those sorted out, I'm going to be dry brushing these gold. Gonna build these pieces that go over once these are in place, because you always have a bit of wiggle room when you're building stuff like this, that nothing ends up quite perfect, and that's all right. So I'm going to go through and build these things, and when I come back, this will be dry brushed, and I'll go over and just sticking on these, and then we'll be going on to the final bit of weathering and then we will talk about finishing it up. See you in a bit. All right, we return, and you can see that everything now is glued together. I was initially going to put metal bands across this binding here, but I realized after the fact that it made not a lick of sense, because if they were on there, the book wouldn't be able to open. So I'm just going to stick with the texture that's there and like it. You can see that the metal bars are on the back, and the only thing missing on the back at this point are these two, which I just have to finish up, but you don't need to see that because that won't be part of the final prop that you need to see, which will be the top. I'm going to go age this up, and I'll go over how I do all the aging after. It's easier to do it and then show you what I did, where I did it. Regardless, if this is where you want the prop to finish, you're done. Congratulations. If not, I'll see you in a few moments. All right, we're all aged up and finished here. As you can see, the gold was weathered with a bit of burnt umber around here just to darken up the bolts. I did a tiny bit of extra black dry brushing on that as well. The main changes up here is, once again, I did burnt umber onto here to age up the gold to make it look more like aged gold. And it really did do a number on it to make it look that way. I'm getting a bit of light from the sunset over there, and it's washing it out just slightly, but hopefully you can see all the color in it regardless. Now, around here, I did a little bit of a black aging just to make this stand out a bit more. It's pretty much a straightforward, you age it up to the point that you are comfortable with, and for whatever purpose you actually have into it. And on the edges here, you can see I did a bit of brown. I did a tiny bit of brown over here, but it's not really that important. Play with your colors, age it to the point that you like the way it looks, because you are the one who you're trying to convince you like this. And if you're picky, like me, that way, once you've got it aged to where you like it, it'll probably be well above and beyond what everybody else will see. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was a fun slog to get this thing done. Remind me if I ever want to do wood grain on something like this again to shoot myself in the foot first. And remember, if you enjoyed this video, please throw a like on it. It goes a long way to helping other people find my video and reminds me that you are enjoying what you are seeing. Anyways, have a good one, and I will see you on the next project. Have a good one.